Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event. Let's get ready to...
Deathlocker presents, and what are we calling this thing? The Three Faces of Wrasslin. And we have three people on here. And Steve, can you not look at your phone while we're doing this? Steve Ackerman, we got two Steves, Steve Ackerman, then we got Steve Piper, known as the Piperman. But Steve Ackerman has this habit of just looking at his phone the entire time he's fucking podcasting.
I'm going to put it away.
Yeah, put your phone away, okay?
I'm going to put it away here.
Or you got to show us what's on the phone. It's like when you're in school, you know, you start passing notes, the teacher reads the notes. You got to show us what's going on in your adult friend finder, your Pornhub, whatever it is you're looking at.
Phone's gone.
I guess he's not going to show us. So this is kind of nerdy-ish exciting because this is the first offshoot podcast from Deathlocker. We're going to be talking about wrestling. What the fuck are you doing now, dude?
Where's Piper?
What? Jesus fucking Christ. Get with the program. Yeah, we're all going to wait till... Are you good?
I am, but I don't see Piper.
I see Piper.
Oh, all right.
I'm here. Do you have your thing on the gallery view? Remember, you got to swipe. I know you're used to swiping right. Come on, swipe, swipe.
Aha! There we go. Yo.
Are you happy?
Yep.
Okay. So, like I was saying, what the cool thing is, this is the first official offshoot for the Deathlocker brand. So, horror and wrestling kind of sort of go hand in hand. A lot of it shares the same fan base. And so two of the guys I know who know the most about wrestling is Mr. Steven Ackerman and Mr. Steven Piper. So how are you guys doing today, and how is COVID-19 stuck at your house treating you?
Been doing okay. I spend all my time, if I'm not work from home, I'm either watching wrestling, playing wrestling, or outside walking.
Do you have like one of those old life-size wrestling dolls and you just like put them in headlocks and jump on your bed?
Actually, I have two of those in my garage.
But you don't play it though? No.
For a while, I did have a ring in here somewhere. I had the old school Hasbro toys I played with in the ring.
Oh, like the Rock'em Sock'em things?
Yeah.
Does your wife walk around and you just start giving her RKOs out of nowhere?
Every once in a while, I try to pick her up, and she just does dead weight, and I got to stop.
The funny thing is when Steve Ackerman goes and tries to pick up women, they do the same thing. They just cringe up and go away.
That's when you hit him with the end of days. Put him out.
So how this thing came together is a lot of people were digging Steve Ackerman on the last Deathlocker podcast and wanted to see more of his weird fucking headgear. And so Steve and Piper, we're going to call Hackerman and Piper. How's that? Since you guys are both Steves. So Piperman over here, you've done a few Facebook Lives.
Yeah.
Where you've been out there talking about things. And since I think I've seen your total view count be about 4 or 5 people actually watching it, that pretty much feeds into our primary Deathlocker demographic, 4 or 5 people who actually watch it.
Basically, anyone with a pulse.
Yeah, if that. I mean, so I thought it'd be good to get the two of you guys together. This all came together at the very last second. So what we're going to do is talk about tonight's AEW. Then we'll go over and talk about something that's already been talked about ad nauseum, which is a few wrestlers been released from WWE, and you guys can throw your 13 cents in on where you think they're going to end up. How's that sound?
Sure, that works.
Okay, so again, I didn't get a chance to watch AEW tonight because I was busy doing some stuff for our evil overlords, Nerd Locker. They make me go sweep up after them after dinners and whatnot. So I had a couple tweets and stuff, so I have an idea what happened, but you guys both watched the show tonight, yes?
Yes. Yeah.
So tell us about the good, the bad of AEW Dynamite.
Unless I'm mistaken, I think
really good tonight. Go ahead, Piper.
Unless I'm mistaken, I think tonight is the last recorded show. because I believe Moxley said next week he'll be live.
Yeah.
That's what I heard. Because I guess this whole thing's been leading up to the TNT television title. It's kind of been what this whole theme has been, because they recorded this thing about for 5 or 6 weeks. Everything has been pre-recorded, and I was hoping that Darby would win, because I think Darby is going to be I think he has the higher ceiling than anybody else at AEW. Cody is just going to be, lack of a better person to compare him to, the Triple H of AEW. He's going to be a lifer there. He's going to, as long as they'll be there, he's going to be there. So I was hoping to see Darby go over, because I don't think Cody needs a title. But I think most people figured that Cody would go over, and then Dustin was just going to get the hell beat out of him and have Cody come out there for like a blood feud to try to save his brother. I think most people had suspected that was going to happen. And so Double or Nothing, you're going to see the Murder Hawk and Cody, and you're just going to see Jake Roberts do as many vignettes from now until the end you could possibly do.
So with it looking like they're setting it up for Cody to get the belt, is that something you think it's going to hurt? 'Cause, I mean, if you look at the old, I think it was both Dusty and Ric Flair, when they were booking, there was always they would put you said Triple H, but they'd put the belts on themselves. And with Cody having such a heavy hand in the booking, you think it's going to hurt Cody's character if he just because it's going to look like he created a belt just to put it on himself?
No, I think if you know much about Dusty, yet he always put himself in a lot of these positions. 9 times out of 10, he would lose, and because he would sell his ass off. That's what made the riots happen. That's what made people start climbing the cages, getting beer bottles out. Because, for instance, the night in the Omni, the night the Horseman broke Dusty's leg in the steel cage. That's because like they got everyone start feeding in and going for Dusty, and then all of a sudden they beat the hell out of him, and that's what made everyone go off. I think that Murder Hawk is going to end up winning the whole thing, and I can see them doing something with Darby to try to get the title on Darby, and then there's going to be blood feuds with either Dustin or Cody against the Murder Hawk in the future. I just don't see Cody having a title. If he does have it, it will not be very long. They can do what they call a Dusty finish. Dusty was very famous. If he won a match, the very next night he would come out with a stipulation. They're like, sorry, there's disqualification, so Dusty didn't win the title, so it went back to Flair or something like that. And next thing you know, they did it too many times, and that's one of the reasons Dusty Rhodes got fired from the booking office.
Now, do you think that in today's where everybody kind of knows, wrestling, sports entertainment, that kind of stuff would still fly?
I think it would fly, but they have to make sure not to do it over and over again, which is what killed it the first time.
Gotcha.
Since that doesn't really happen much anymore, at least that I remember seeing, I could see them doing something like that. Because think about it, Cody still has things going on with MJF. With MJF,
Yeah,
that is a whole thing that I'm guessing because since this whole COVID's happened, they've had to kind of ignore that because I guess MJF is hurt right now. From what I've read, he's had to have a neck or back surgery. I'm not really sure the extent of that, but that's why we haven't seen him in a while.
According to his vignette, he's the his doctor said he's the world's quickest healer, and he cut himself shaving, and a normal man would have died. But not MJF. He powered through.
I think he's just stuck in New York. I don't think he's hurt.
That's
I think
possible.
I think he's stuck. They're really strict up there because I have friends up there. He's trapped. So they're trying to do something to at least put him on TV. I'm going to stick with that. He's not hurt. He's just quarantined.
Well, I'm thinking that would be a big money draw, and you don't want to do that when you don't know for sure you can fill up a venue.
Exactly. And that's why I feel that Murder Hawk is going to end up taking it all, and somehow because Cody needs to get back to MJF to make that feud keep going.
Yeah.
Because MJF is money. Because everything he does, anything he's on TV, that's what anyone talks about the next day. How much they hate, or how much, or just that 5 minutes that he's on TV. That's what everyone talks about all the next day is MJF.
Yeah, I mean, I really dig how he keeps the heel persona going,
Yes.
even at signings and all that. I was watching the Dark Side of the Ring, the latest one. Dr. whatchamacallit?
Schultz.
Yeah, and the whole slapping of the of the reporter. And when you said that, it just reminded me, of that. And I appreciate that. I mean, we all know it's sports entertainment, but the thing I've always appreciated about wrestling since I kind of got back into it was the suspension of disbelief. You can just kind of turn your brain off and let yourself. It's a soap opera for guys.
Oh yeah,
for the most part.
I've been to 2 of the last 3 or 4 Starcasts. Starcast is basically the AEW version of like a fanfare, indie fanfare for all the AEW events and pay-per-views. And the last 2 I've been to, big fights would break out, and you find out it's because that MJF was in a fight, and they've had to get security to get him out of there.
I like that. Oh, that's kind of cool. Okay, Steve, or Hackerman, what do you got for me, man?
About tonight's show?
Yeah, we got Piperman's over there giving us some podcast gold, and you're just nodding your head a lot.
Oh, I'm absorbing it up. He's bringing back old memories. It was good. I mean, the Cody Darby Allin match was good. The only thing I didn't like was the pin, and they're starting to do things like WWE is still doing. There's a weird pin, the bell rings, and before the referee even flags or says anything, they start playing, like tonight, Cody's music. Now, that was a little confusing, that pin. They need to at least go back to the old days, like when I used to go to the Meadowlands in Madison Square Garden, wait for the referee to actually point to the bell or point to the person who won. I mean, it was a good match. The ending was a little weird, but all right, Cody won, but it was hard to tell. But once that bell rang, they played his music. Now,
I wonder how much of that is just, with condensed staff support. They're just kind of going, or maybe they got somebody, the timing's just a little bit off. I mean, it is still a new promotion, so sometimes the timing and all that kind of stuff could take a little bit to go.
They're the worst on it. Before they even hit 3 and that bell rings, they're already playing like the New Day's music. I mean, I don't know if a lot of people catch that, but that drives me nuts. I mean, there was a lot of good matches tonight. The tag team match was good. The Rhodes Murder Hawk match was good. What's that little guy's name?
Marco Stunt.
That little guy got his ass kicked. Orange Cassidy was there. That's your boy, Shane.
I fucking hate Orange
Same.
Cassidy.
I can't stand him.
I can appreciate. I was listening to one of the things that kind of got me back into wrestling was listening to Jim Cornette, and he said something a while back where
Pockets.
I like. Yeah, I mean, he said something that Orange Cassidy going to AEW could have been really cool if they let him just be Orange Cassidy. Then at some point he actually became a wrestler, and that character kind of evolved. But it hasn't. It's stayed the same shtick over and over and over.
It's starting to get a little stale now.
I know it gets them over. I know it sells T-shirts, but I mean, I'm just not a big fan of the really, really comedy wrestling. I mean, there's one thing like Colt Cabana. He's a comedy wrestler, but I mean, he still does wrestling stuff. Orange Cassidy just stands around with his hands in his pockets, does a couple moves, looks cool, and it's over.
What I've been thinking is going to happen, and I believe a lot of these people, Orange Cassidy, I'm not so sure, but like Jimmy Havoc and a lot of these other, I guess, big indie wrestlers that couldn't draw much money if they're on their own, is just holding spots until bigger names come into the door, like the Revival.
Start seeing them go
stuff
away.
like that. Yes, I think there's placeholders until they can get bigger names in there, but they have to have time to fill, so they have dumbasses like Havoc and Pockets, or I'm sorry, Orange Cassidy come on there.
But doesn't that kind of put AEW? I'm sure. This is something that's been talked about a bunch. Is AEW going down the same route that WCW went down?
Well, according to the news that has come out the last 48 hours, I think that might end up getting reversed. There have now been reports that Vince is looking at selling by mid-May WWE to ESPN or Fox.
Yep.
Really?
Yes. And if that happens, then you're going to have a legitimate TV company running wrestling, which is what WCW was.
It's a publicly traded company, no?
Yes. And actually that company, the shareholders also filed a suit against Vince yesterday.
Does it have to do with the whole XFL folding and the
that's part of it, and that there misuse of funds, and apparently reports in the locker room is that Vince has pretty much told everybody, if you want to be released, let me know, you'll be gone. He said he's had everything between WrestleMania not going how he wanted it to go, between the XFL
the Saudi Arabia stuff.
Yes, apparently just all this shit's happened, and I think from according to reports, he's ready to sell.
So do you think if he sells WWE, then maybe something like do you think that they're maybe looking at selling WWE as a whole, or since you have Raw, SmackDown, and NXT almost as their own individual brands, seeing if somebody wants to buy them individually, or like Triple H buys NXT? No. That's kind of been his baby, so he can have his own promotion? Or
from what I'm hearing, he's asking between $4 to $5 billion.
Oh fuck!
For all four?
Yeah, between $4 to $5 billion, which a lot of people say it would be pretty cheap to get it for with everything that is combined in it.
Well, especially ESPN and Disney and all that are basically the same company, so that's marketing like crazy.
Yes, and
Hulk Hogan at Disneyland.
The rumor has been for a while now that Disney was going to end up buying it. What happened was Vince, a couple years right before the XFL, when he went to do XFL, he sold a lot of his shares, and those shares is supposed to be what funded XFL until we found out recently that WWE money was used for XFL.
Yeah, and I thought it was supposed to be separate, but then WWE kind of owned some shares of it.
Yep. And because the problem is, over the last, year, he started buying his shares back in WWE, which everyone assumed when that happened, that was probably going to be used for him to sell it, because he was still the majority shareholder.
That's interesting.
So if a sale does happen, then they will be WCW, because WCW was ran by Turner, and that's what killed him.
So what do you think's going to happen? What do you think's going to happen there if that ends up happening?
I think that you're going to have a lot of talent wanting to go to AEW or Japan. And depending on how AEW wants to run their company, I think they could be the next big thing as far as be as big or bigger than WWE is right now. Because WWE, before this whole thing happened, still wasn't getting that good ratings as they used to, because they were just going downhill. And now every week you keep hearing about, oh, well, SmackDown went even lower in ratings than they've ever had before. Last time I checked, it was right under 2 million people were watching SmackDown.
Yeah. It's still, a lot of people just don't watch wrestling on TV. I think, honestly, for me, is WWE would better been served just to have one good product that was out once a week, as opposed to 3 products that they have to figure out how to do.
Well, their problem was when AEW came around, Vince wanted no one to go over there, so he just started buying talent just so they wouldn't go over there.
To hold on to them.
Yes, to hold on to them. And so you had the biggest roster that's ever been used, and you had all these people that wanted to do something, and they couldn't do anything because there's not enough TV time. You have that many people.
So with that in mind, what are you guys' top 3? We'll go with Hackerman first, since he's been over there all quiet and just nodding his head. What are the top 3 wrestlers that you want to see leave WWE right now, and what promotion do you want them to go to?
Leave or have left?
To leave. What are we talking about have left a little bit later, but right
Okay.
now, if top 3 wrestlers that you want to just go knock on Vince's door and say, I want to go, and where do you want them to show up with? What program would you want to see them do?
I love Shinsuke Nakamura. I would love to see him either go back to Japan or AEW. I would love to see Cesaro go because they're not using him right. I mean, he can go to AEW or something of that nature. Who else? They have so many people that they don't use. I mean, if you look at most of the people that came up from NXT aren't doing anything now at all. Sami Zayn, they ruined everybody else. They ruined the Ascension. EC3, I love the EC3. He'll be in AEW soon. So Nakamura, Cesaro. Kevin Owens.
Welcome to the Steve Ackerman Thinks Long Thoughts podcast.
No, that's a good question though.
I mean, they got a bunch of people. I mean, do you want to go for any of the biggies? You know, do you want to see like Brock Lesnar take off and go somewhere? Do you want to see someone like Edge who's, do something else? Or
I don't think Edge is gonna be around.
Randy Orton, Nyla Jax. I mean, you got a lot of like big names.
Trying to think who would leave. I mean, Orton.
You want to see Undertaker just do one last match with a different promotion?
One day we'll have a podcast on that last WrestleMania.
Well, that's what Andre the Giant did. Right before he died, his last TV was on WCW.
Was it?
Yep, he was in a Battle Royal with Mick Foley.
Just for the hell of it, or was it a paycheck?
Yep. Yeah, well, it was a paycheck, but it was a Clash of the Champions on WCW.
So, Piper, what would be your 3?
One would be Dolph Ziggler.
Okay.
Dolph, I don't think has been used correctly in God knows how long. He's pretty much the next embodiment of Mr. Perfect. He should have a title forever. Him and MJF would make a great tag team. Another one would be a tag team. Actually, are they called the Viking Raiders? I can never keep up with what they're called anymore.
Yeah. I think that's when that one stuck. They switched 3 or 4 times.
I think they are between the new Demolition or LOD, whatever you want to call them.
I don't dig the reusing LOD for new people. I've never been a big fan of reusing old gimmicks that were like that.
No, I'm not saying use their gimmick. I'm saying just in their as far as big man tag teams.
Gotcha.
They are athletic. They can work their ass off. I think it'd be great. Third would be between Shayna Baszler, because I think she's a badass. I think she would bring some great stuff to AEW. The other girl I'd like to go, but there would be a reason, like a special reason, would be Charlotte.
Okay.
And that would be if Tessa Blanchard could somehow leave Impact and go to AEW, because that's where Tully is. And you could literally start forming either a legitimate horsewomen, or do some great matches with Tessa and Charlotte, and just have it be about how their dads were horsemen and they didn't get along or some shit like that. That'd be a huge moneymaker, because in my opinion, those are the best 2 women wrestlers that are going right now. But I guess people are not a fan of how Tessa works, because apparently they feel like she takes it way too seriously, aka like Bret Hart used to be called. But I think that would just be huge money, because WWE could not handle Tessa.
Okay, so you guys are talking about the AEW tonight. What do you guys think about Brody Lee and his just kind of steamrolling through everybody? In my mind, I kept thinking Goldberg.
Well, he has more moves than Goldberg.
Well, yeah, I mean, he can actually wrestle. So, I mean,
Yes.
but I mean, just the idea of him just winning over and over and over again, is this sustainable? Do you think they have like a grand plan, or is it going to be one of those, he's just going to win, and then as soon as he gets his first loss, just kind of float around the card?
Well, my problem with it is I feel they're doing the same two things with him and Lance Archer. It's basically the same thing, two big guys and just among two people at the exact same time. Now, I like Brody Lee. I just don't like the gimmick also. I wish he was just kind of a more loner. I think they misstep of making him the leader of what the hell is that group called again?
The Dark Order. Yeah, I wasn't too keen on that either. I would have rather just seen him like a Bruiser Brody.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I think for as small as AEW is right now, they have too many,
Yes,
I mean
it'll grow.
Yeah, but I mean,
so many.
I mean, I know that they got their second TV show, their second show's starting not too long in the near future, but there's just too many factions. I can't get into I feel like they're trying to build a new like MWO or something like that.
I mean, well, they did learn their lesson with the Nightmare Collective. They learned they need to shut that shit down quickly, and they did. So you really don't know how, I guess, Brody Lee and them are doing until they get back in a big crowd, because Brody Lee has not been in a crowd yet since being out there. But I think
the rest of the Dark Order is probably not there, so it doesn't have you ain't feeling it right now, because he ain't coming out to the ring with all the other guys. Uno's not there. It's just like I don't half a dozen wrestlers stuck down there, staying in motels, making those shows for them.
Yeah, I mean, and it could be one of those, once things get back to normal, you start seeing storylines develop a little better. But yeah, the Dark Order is one of the things that's put me off from AEW, because it just doesn't make any sense to me right now.
Yeah, AEW, it can be a very hit or miss. They have some phenomenal stuff, but then some of their gimmick groups are not so well. Like between that and what's the new one with what was that?
The Librarians.
Oh God. Apparently, that is a 100% Tony Khan idea.
Yeah, that's horrible.
Which, I guess, since he owns it, they let him. They have to do it. But yeah, that should be axed.
The thing is, she can wrestle too. That's what was it? Blue Pants, remember?
Oh, Lisa Bates.
Yeah, she could wrestle, and I'm like, what are they doing? I don't know who that skinny ass dude is. The other guy.
Peter Avalon.
Yeah, I mean, come on, that's just like I said. They're gonna start bringing people in. They're gonna start weeding some of them out.
Yeah, they have to. I mean, well, a lot of that is usually done for AEW Dark, which is the YouTube show, I guess, and it makes sense because they're trying, I guess, to work out people to get them better. But luckily, they rarely use them anymore on regular TV. Thank God, or else it'd be horrible.
So Dark's pretty much just going to stick to being developmental, probably then.
Yeah, pretty much.
I think you have good matches on there too, though. I mean, there was a couple. I mean, I watched it and I was like, "Oh, that was actually pretty good." But yeah, I mean, there's some people that they just need to go. But like I said, they need filler until they can bring in new. Now, I think Cage is supposed to be coming there, ain't he?
Cage? Oh,
yeah.
I mean, but isn't he injured for a while?
Yeah. But I think Wolverine's going to show up. I think sooner or later Cobb's going to end up in there.
Yeah, it was weird because Cobb just came in and left.
Yeah, I think he'll be back. You got the Revival coming. I think Rusev's going to end up over there. EC3. I would love to see Cassius Ohno over there.
I guess that's a good segue into the main focus of this podcast, which is, where do you guys think folks who were just recently released from WWE are going to land? I got a list of some names. I'm just going to go through them. You guys take a couple of seconds, throw out your 13 cents, and we'll plug through this list pretty quick and see what's what. You ready?
Cool.
Okay, so first one is probably one of the bigger ones. Kurt Angle hasn't really been on screen that much, hasn't been in ring for a while, was doing some backstage stuff, but he was released, and it's probably the most notable name of the bunch.
Go ahead, Piper.
I don't think he's gonna go anywhere. I think once WWE gets back, I think he's either gonna go back there, or he's just gonna be a own face like wrestling celebrity for the rest of his life. Kind of like how Bret Hart just appeared at the first Double or Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
He's just going to be going around because he has no business wrestling anymore. His neck is so messed up, he has no business ever getting physical in a ring.
But from a manager or producer standpoint,
I guess he could go back to Impact. I just don't know why he would.
Maybe show his face on TNA. I mean, NWA. But yeah, he ain't gonna do
that's kind of what I was thinking. Is I could see him going into NWA because I do love the cheesiness of NWA, and the style of wrestling they do is not that impactful. You know, as far as the bumps and stuff go, I could see Kurt Angle doing, a cheesy match or two with what's it called, Tim Storm or something like that.
Just question mark.
The question mark, pulls it off. But yeah,
that'd be great. If the question mark is actually Kurt Angle.
Yeah, there you go. God dang. But I mean, NWA's just kind of got that style that if you're not super physically talented anymore, you can go in there and have some fun with your gimmick, for a few episodes and then dip out. Because
people in, I think he'll do something like that. He'll show up somewhere, but he's not going to do much.
Him and the Rock and Roll Express, they can do a 16 tag. Okay, so what would you say about Kurt Angle, Ackerman?
Yeah, Impact or TNA. I mean, what do I keep calling it? NWA. Just show his face, draw a couple people in, run his mouth, but not do anything. If not, he's gone.
What about Drake Maverick?
Oh, Jesus.
I'm saying either just Indies or NWA. I don't see him having much of a future anywhere. I mean, he didn't impress me in the ring, and he was just barely a good personality. I mean, his best moments were with the 24/7 title, but that was just few and far between.
See that was cheesy. I mean, that's pretty much all he really had going on was the 24/7 title stuff. So you're saying he's basically his next payday is going to be at some convention somewhere signing autographs?
Yep, he's going to be in some barnyard or some kind of dance hall with him and what's that
Virgil?
Fucking guy. Well, hell, Virgil of it. No, what's that guy who wore the cheetah stuff, the hair? Enzo. He's gonna be out with Enzo.
Well, so depending upon the rumor of the week, he's supposed to be making a comeback after his big music career.
Well, he should be back real quick because if you've heard any of that music, and I love Enzo too, but I was like, oh my God, no.
See, Enzo's a dude I thought took things too seriously, especially when I was hearing about that fucking binder he carried around with all his ideas and his one-liners and all that shit. It's like, I write this shit down. I'm like, dude, you got to write it down. That's kind of. Hold on, let me get my comeback. Kurt Hawkins.
I'm gonna say Indies. Isn't that where he's like a big Indies guy. I'd say he goes back to the Indies or maybe Impact.
Depending on if they want him with Zack Ryder.
Yeah.
Because Zack Ryder, I'm 100% positive, is going to AEW.
Yeah, and he's already trademarked the Internet Champion, or he applied for the trademark for it. So it makes sense. That's going to be a shtick he's going to show up at AEW with. Yeah,
and like Cody already kind of came out and said like how much he loves Zack Ryder and how much he was misused.
Yeah.
Now it just depends on if they're going if Hawkins is going to curtail with him because they also have a big podcast thing together.
Yeah, the major figure podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking I could see them maybe even if it's just short term, they come in together and they kind of see how that goes. But Zack Ryder to me is the bigger talent of the two as far as being able to get yourself over. I mean, Hawkins, I like the whole lose, and then you win, and it was impactful. But I mean, realistically, talent-wise, to me, he's like a mid-card guy.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's a solid worker, but I mean, he's just one of those.
He'd be a better manager.
Yeah, I mean, or he needs to be a tag team partner with someone like Zach, who's the star. You know what I mean?
Right.
Carl Anderson.
New Japan.
Yeah, I'm going to say either Japan. I could even maybe see a cameo in NWA. But, yeah, I'd say overall they're going to probably go Japan because they have really strong roots in Japan.
Yeah, get back on the Bullet Club. But yeah, you could throw Gallows in with him.
Yeah, that was the next on my list was Luke Gallows.
Yeah, they're going to stick together. Bullet Club will.
Heath Slater?
Oh, God. I'm going to say Indies because I think.
Because didn't Cody come out and say no to him?
I think so. And I actually think he talked to what was the guy's name? NW. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm gonna say
Impact. New talent that's out there now. He's got to be one of the last ones they probably even looking at, which is
I'm gonna say Impact, and then and I can see Impact using him more of a producer role.
Now, see, part of this, we got to remember is other than AEW, the other promotions don't have a lot of money to throw around.
Right.
So, some of these guys are going to be used to to a certain extent, they're going to be used to their WWE overinflated contracts. So it could be a little bit of a rude awakening if you're going to Impact or New Japan or NWA or something like that.
Well, I think Japan would pay, depending on who they were. Like, for instance, Gallows and Anderson, they have a big reputation there. They're big there, so I think Japan will pay them well. But someone like Drake Maverick or other people like that, they couldn't pay or even care about.
Okay, what about Eric Young? And a couple of these, I don't even.
I'm going to say Impact.
Remember.
Go back to Impact or work the Indies up.
Yeah, same.
Rowan.
I could maybe see him in NWA as long as they don't give him a fucking spider gimmick.
Well, they killed it. My Pet Harry or whatever that. Remember that glove thing that used to be a spider?
Yeah.
Yeah, My Pet Spider or whatever. I think that's what was in there.
Well, depending on if they want him to do it with Brody Lee, possibly AEW.
Or have him come in and go. Yeah, I would say maybe Impact, NWA or AEW. Yeah, that one's up in the air.
I think one of the interesting things about AEW is unless something's changed, most of them they're not exclusive. So you could come into AEW part-time almost as a trial run, and then you could work things in other territories, which I kind of dig how AEW is doing that because it's a huge throwback to how things were. So you could have some of these guys come in, do a short program, disappear for a year and a half, then come back around. And,
so if they're AEW, maybe they wrestle twice a week, maybe, right now.
Well, yeah, a lot of them will go to Mexico.
Joe Janelle.
Yeah.
You see him on YouTube in more like little bars and little
barns,
federations and stuff, and then he shows up on Impact. Yeah, I think the way they run it, I think, is good.
Okay, so now we get to Sarah Logan.
I wish Sarah Logan would go to AEW just because they need experienced girls. Their women's division is
pretty weak.
It's the drizzling shits.
Yeah.
I mean, you might see one good girls match once every 3 months.
Yeah.
And most times that's by accident.
The thing we used to laugh about the AEW female division is it reminds me of the NWA female division where it's just so cartoony and they're playing up for their crowd so much. It's annoying.
Well, I prefer the NWA women's strictly because, and kind of like Jim Cornette has said this, there's not many, I guess, American English faces in the women's division in AEW, and they can't cut promos. And it's hard for you to get into the matches when you don't know anything about that person.
Yeah.
And since I'm not giving any of the Japanese women any managers, you don't know who to identify with. And so you kind of need more people that can talk to us on TV to let us know what's going on. And that's what AEW needs. And let's face it, the best women's wrestling at all is going to be in WWE because they're going through NXT, which is the best women's wrestling we've ever seen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what I think WWE has the advantage of is they've had every incarnation almost of women's wrestling. So they have that historical, here's what didn't work. And they finally figured out a product that worked, to where you have women wrestlers who can actually wrestle and aren't just straight, TNA,
I mean, pretty much the worst women wrestlers in WWE are better than the best women wrestlers in AEW just about every time.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Maybe I'd like to maybe see her in Ring of Honor too, because she's married to the one Viking Raider dude.
I could get with Ring of Honor. My little wrestling crush, Jordan Grace, I think is in Ring of Honor still.
Jordan Grace. You mean Butterface?
I am a huge fan of Jordan Grace.
According to Jim Cornette?
Yeah. I mean, her gimmick is kind of cheesy, but I mean, I don't know. She's got some pretty decent skills, and she plays it off, and
I do follow her on Instagram, so I know you're talking about.
Yeah, so I am a huge Jordan Grace mark. Ackerman isn't, because he likes his chicks, mentally imbalanced and super skinny and 12 pounds.
So like Nikki Cross, he must love.
Yeah, pretty much. He's out looking for how many six packs the woman has, how many ribs are popping out of her skin. He's a.
Oh hell no! I don't like that skin shit. Ugh.
Okay, so let's jump. Okay, EC3. You were talking about him earlier, Steve.
AEW for sure.
Agreed.
Where? AEW. Let's see. Aiden English.
Indies
or NWA.
Yeah, because he's hurt. I mean, I don't think he was doing announcing for a while. I don't know what he. NWA or the Indies. I don't see him going to Impact or AEW. I don't think they'll pick him up.
I mean, I think NWA, in my opinion, NWA is more entertaining than WWE. And I think if they can get some good, solid people from WWE that no one else wants, it would only help them out.
Yeah.
A few of these that you guys are thinking indies, if I'm a AEW, I might pick them up just to run the dark shows or the online stuff to help work your developmental talent, because if you want
to get rid of some of the lower people, I mean, I'd bring Aiden English in and just to get rid of a scrub, but he ain't much more than a scrub now, anyways. I think he's hurt.
Okay, what about did we do Primo already?
Oh, they're Puerto Rico. They ain't gonna come back.
Lio Rush, whatever.
Lio Rush. I think if he has a decent head on his shoulders, he's been known to be a bit hot-headed. He could do AEW. He'd be a great manager. Or he is a good wrestler, but if he cannot keep his head on straight, he is going to be indies for the rest of his life.
Mm-hmm. At Impact, if he's lucky.
Yeah. Okay, Zack Ryder, we already talked about. That's pretty much a given. He's going to AEW. He's going to do his internet champion shtick again and see how that goes. I'm a huge Zack Ryder fan, like Piper said. The Major Wrestling Figure podcast, love that stupid thing. Watch it. It's pretty fun. So I would love to see Ryder and Hawkins to do something when they first come in together, maybe like internet tag team champions, something like that, and then slowly break them apart into other stuff. I think Hawkins is more of a behind the scenes kind of guy than Ryder would be.
I think Ryder would do great as a tag team partner with Trent.
Oh yeah, that could be interesting.
And can kick out fucking Chuck Taylor.
Yeah.
No way, Jose.
Impact.
Indies. I mean,
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
ruined him. They ruined him.
I've never heard of No Way Jose until I went to a live show for just SmackDown. Came out and I went, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah,
That's the only time I've ever seen No Way Jose.
I'll be honest, man. A lot of these names on here, I couldn't even tell you who they were. How to do some research because, like you said, WWE just paid a bunch of people not to go anywhere else, just to sit at home.
Sit in the back and get paid.
Yeah, and it cost them.
Yeah. So Rusev, last one, which this one was kind of a surprise because they were pushing Rusev, and then they just decided to do.
Too. So,
Jim Ross has already come out and said he wants AEW to pick him up. I do see that happening. But I think they need to be careful about it because they're just booking all the big guys to do major squash matches over and over again. It's looking very, very, very repetitive.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to figure out a way to really make that work. Because you also have who's the MJF bodyguard?
Wardlow.
Wardlow. Yeah, so you have three big guys that are doing the almost same shtick every time they're out there, and so they gotta if they're gonna bring Rusev in, they gotta figure out a better way to do it.
Well, he might be one of those candidates to bring him in and then have him bebop around different promotions. So when he shows up, it's like an actual event that he shows up as opposed to, like you said, just being buried with a bunch of other big guys. Because if WWE is going to be letting a bunch of other people know, a lot of these dudes who were, hoping to get gigs in AEW or NWA or New Japan or whatever, you might start seeing some like more B-level and A-level talent, requesting their release. I mean, something like, we're talking like Brock Lesnar, if he decides to say, fuck it, I want to go somewhere else, that's going to, who's going to pick him up?
The only place Brock would ever go again would be UFC.
You don't think if Tony Khan said, I'm going to give you a big boatload of money and I'll sprinkle on, you can go hang in the locker room at the Jacksonville Jaguars and all that kind of stuff?
I don't. I'll tell you why. If you follow anything about the behind the scenes of AEW, they have a big rule about no assholes. You have to be positive at all times, a good guy, or you will not be hired.
Okay, so what if someone like Paul Heyman got out of his contract?
I don't see AEW putting up with Paul's antics.
Yeah.
As great as he is, I think he would cause division in the locker room. The only person I could see wanting both of them there would be Jericho, but Jericho, he won't be there that long. They pretty much always came out, and I already had suspected this because there's somebody else that got released you didn't mention, and that is was it Lance Storm?
I don't think did he get released already?
He was a background guy, I think.
Yeah. Well, the thing is,
he said he wanted to have his last match with them.
Exactly. So he had closed his wrestling school in Canada to work for the WWE because his school was very popular. He closed it down to go work for WWE.
I think he did like 4 months and then they released him.
Yep. And now now Jericho's already came out and said whenever the last match happens, he wants it to be with Lance Storm.
So what do you think Jericho's shelf life is then?
I'm gonna say no more than another year.
So you're thinking a year, and then he'll just do kind of like that spot thing, maybe kind of take on that Kurt Angle, Undertaker kind of thing, where he just shows up every now and again.
Or WrestleMania.
No. Whenever he comes now, I don't see him going to WWE anytime soon over the next few years.
It'll be a while.
Yeah, no.
I think he'll be staying with AEW for a long, long time.
Well, his tour got canceled too, didn't it? So
yeah. But I think he'll be doing stuff in Japan, AEW for a while. But as far as having a solid road schedule, I don't think any more than another year he'll be doing full time.
So of all the guys who were released, the list we just went over, I want each of you guys to pick one who you think is going to be the next Virgil. That sad, lonely wrestler sitting at a flea market in an old closed-down drive-in, selling his pictures for
No Way Jose.
No Way Jose. And why do you think No Way Jose? Justify.
What is your favorite No Way Jose match?
Well, there's some more on the
Taken.
list. Let's read a couple of those other names off.
You sent me the fucking list. Look at your phone.
You told me to put it away.
I said stop looking at porn on it while we're podcasting.
Oh, let's see.
Grab your phone, scroll through the list.
All right, hold on.
You can also say Drake Maverick after him giving that video of him crying because he got it released. I'm like, I could easily just see him crying his tears into a bowl of Italian bread.
So you don't think that was a work?
I don't think he's that talented.
I just
Yeah.
I think maybe the original video was legit, but then potentially the reaction that they got, maybe WWE was like, let's give dude the title and see what happens. Because he got kind of a little bit of a, emo woe is me following.
Yeah, but wasn't that pre-taped though?
The match? I don't know if all the matches were pre-taped.
Well, I'm looking at this list.
Because they still, they did kind of like a little highlight reel package, focusing on them and pushing them a little bit. It doesn't make sense you would do that if you're going to release the kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a fucked up work if it is a work, but I mean,
yeah,
hey, whatever.
I'm going to say the Canales, Mike and Maria Canales.
Who?
The Canales, Mike and Maria. She was a diva. They were in Ring of Honor for a while.
I think there'll be an Impact soon. I have a feeling.
They were in. Well, I think they might go back to Ring of Honor. They had that stupid '80s love.
Yeah, but the question was, which one's going to be at a flea market in 6 months selling their picture for $5?
I'm gonna say Leo Rush.
Why?
Because he can't keep his head on straight. God bless him. Putting cryptic, weird stuff on the internet, and I don't know. That guy's a little shady. I'm gonna say Leo Rush, not Cassius Ohno.
I kind of Piper saying Drake Maverick in my mind. I kind of want him to be the guy. He did that whole thing about I just trying to feed my family, and he's just sitting there, and his pictures are with a sad face, and he draws in little tears for everybody as he signs them. Signs his name with a couple little tears at the bottom.
You know how they had the wrestlers' salaries and stuff online?
Yeah.
The two lowest paid ones that I saw, now I don't know how true it was him and Hornswoggle.
Hornswoggle.
$65,000 a year.
I didn't know Hornswoggle's still around.
And no, what was he doing to get paid?
No, I was like, a lot of them make pretty close to $500,000 if they're smart. But there's some at the bottom that were like, are you serious?
Well, if you're not being used at all, that's good money if you're not doing shit but sitting in the back.
Yeah.
Well, it is unless you're paying for your transportation and hotel room, then you're fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, but I mean, if you're smart about it and you get, with some other people, you can mitigate it a little bit, make some money on appearances, but still.
But you also see him in a lot of EC3's videos that he's putting up, those cryptic things, his workouts on YouTube. He's with him.
Dude, you are way more of a fucking Hornswoggle connoisseur than I am.
Hornswoggle?
Last time I saw Hornswoggle, I think, was when he was
I'm not
in the fucking Leprechaun movie.
No, I'm talking about, what was the other guy we're talking about? The one who was crying.
Oh, Drake Maverick?
Drake Maverick.
Yeah. He was like working out in EC3's garage with him.
Oh, well, I'm sure he was doing that just to get more screen time to try to get hired. I mean, that's something that Virgil would do.
Yeah, he's just back there doing a bunch of push-ups. Look at me, look at me.
He was on the Bubbly Bunch tonight. I don't know if
Saw
you caught
that.
So
Him and Lou Ferrigno.
yeah, I mean he must. And what's the guy that don't talk? That
Jay and Silent Bob.
Yeah, and there was a couple other big names in there too, but they flashed their faces so fast. I don't remember who they were, but I've seen them.
It looks like Ackerman,
But
is a
that
little bit
Bubbly
too
Bunch
far
is
away
kinda
from his
funny, I
router
think.
and froze.
You guys are freezing up too.
That's your internet, dude. If you're the only one freezing for us and we're freezing
I'm
for
at
you,
56%. I'm gonna start sweating it when I hit 40, and I got the plug right behind me.
So Ackerman, at what point do you stop using dial-up?
Huh?
What-
I'm still using it.
yeah. He's on
I gotta
he's
turn
on
the
a
TV on.
28K router right now. You didn't hear when we started? It went.
I want to watch it.
Yeah,
Do you-
somebody tries to call his house right now is going to cut him off the internet 100%.
Probably. I should have turned the phone off.
Do you still use your Hotmail account?
Say what?
Do you still use your Hotmail account?
No, he's got AOL, please.
Huh? I don't have that flip phone anymore. That broke.
Sexy
Remember
boy.
that was the hot topic at Texas Frightmare Weekend? Me and what's that guy? The diabetes guy that was in.
So if you're listening to this,
Wilford Brimley.
Yeah, me and him had the same phone. I was like, wow.
so anyone who's listening to this podcast, this is the part where Ackerman totally forgets that most people have no idea what the fuck he's talking about. He just starts going on these dissertations about conventions and shit. The last one we did, he started talking about some random person who we gave a poster to as part of a giveaway, like 5 years ago. He's like, "Did you know her name?
Popped into
Does
my
she
head.
follow you on Twitter?" I'm fucking talking about.
All right, throw a few more wrestling things in here.
That's kind of it. I guess what we'll do is, so this is the first episode. How'd you guys dig it? Positive, negative, in the middle?
Dude, it went a lot longer than I thought. It was cool because I mean he knows what he's talking about.
You don't gotta suck up to him. I mean, you're socially distanced and he can't push you. Man.
That's why I said, look at how long we went. If it was just me, it would have been 30 minutes.
It was just, yeah, that's what she said. But
Yeah, 30 minutes, I wish.
that's a fucking marathon for you. He's sweating and dripping all over the place. So fucking pool of sweat on her forehead. So I guess we'll be back next week, yeah?
Yeah,
Sure.
I'm cool with it.
Same bat time, same bat channel. Goal would be we'll talk about what happened the last week's shows. We'll figure something else to throw in at the end. I think we've been recording for, I don't know how long, about
Almost an
45
hour and a
minutes. We'll try to keep them about there. Anything you want to say? Saved round alibis?
I think we might see the revival next week.
Next week on AEW?
Yeah, I'm gonna say if you don't see them on next week, we'll see them at Double or Nothing.
Double or Nothing. Okay. That is a Piperman prediction, a PP. So whenever you think of Piperman, think of PP. And what about you, Ackerman? What's your prediction?
I want Cage to pop up or at least show his face.
Next week's shows. What's your
next
prediction?
week.
Next week.
Marco Stunt gets his ass kicked again.
Okay, so we're going to go with Piper's prediction because Ackerman has nothing to fucking do. So I hope you guys had a good time. Everyone who's listening to this, everyone who's watching this. It's kind of cool. We'll do it again. See you next week. Thanks for listening to Deathlocker. What are we calling this thing?
Three Faces of Wrasslin?
The Three Faces of Wrasslin. The title that's so snazzy, I forgot what it was. Make sure you like, subscribe, and then maybe, Piper will shave his little, what is that thing you got going on right there? The hornswoggle?
I don't know what you call a Fu Manchu. I have no idea.
Maybe if we get to 100 subscribers, Piper will shave his Fu Manchu. Will you shave your Fu Manchu at 100 subscribers?
Sure.
It's never going to happen. If we do, we'll be man. I'll talk to you guys later. Be good. And remember, like and subscribe. Out.
Peace out.
Okay, hold on. I actually got to hit the stop record button. It's here somewhere.